Hey everyone, this video is going to be for all the people out there who have just started out learning English and they have no idea of how they are going to become a fluent speaker from zero. If you come from a Hindi medium background, or even if you come from an English medium background and have no idea of how you are going to become a fluent speaker, this video is for you. This video is going to provide you with the full roadmap that you need to become a fluent speaker in English. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I have done so. I come from a Hindi medium background, and coming from a Hindi medium background, it was very hard for me to learn English, let alone speaking in this language. But somehow I managed to talk clearly in this language, and now I am going to teach you how I did that. So without doing any further delay, let's get started and talk about all the things that I have implemented that assisted me speak this language fluently. So the first thing, if you are English beginner, means if you are learning English as a beginner, the first thing that you need to be focused on is speaking short sentences. Yes, I think I have underestimated the power of speaking short sentences for a very long time. Now I have realized the power of using short sentences in a conversation. When you use short sentences in your conversation, people are going to understand you on a very deeper level, and you are going to build a deep relationship with them. So that's the power of using short sentences in your conversation. The first benefit that you get from using short sentences in a conversation is that it's easy to speak and it's clear for people to understand. That's the power of using short sentences in a conversation, and you are going to get into the habit of speaking this language once you start speaking short sentences. And that's how I got into this habit of speaking this language. So yes, you need to remember this: use short sentences in your conversation, the sentences or the words that can be understood by even a third grade student. Now let me talk about the second very important thing that you need to focus on as a beginner. The second, one of the biggest mistakes that I made was speaking English at a very fast pace as a beginner. That's the mistake that I want you to avoid. I want you to speak English at a very slow pace as a beginner. When you speak at a slow pace as a beginner, you look for the exact matching words that will fit right for what you want to say. This is the benefit you get if you speak English slowly. And once you are comfortable with your slow English, talk however you want to talk. So once you are comfortable with your slow English, then move gradually. Now let's talk about the third thing that you need to focus on as a beginner. As a beginner, I was very clear about whom I wanted to speak English like, whom I wanted to sound like. And as a beginner, you have to be very clear about the person whom you want to speak English like. Once you decide whom you want to speak English like, it could be anyone. It could be a celebrity, it could be a cricketer, it could be your father if your father speaks English. It could be anyone whom you want to speak English like. If you have an image in your mind about the person whom you want to speak English like, it becomes very easier for you to learn English. And that's what I did. I had a very specific person in my mind whom I wanted to speak English like, and that's the reason I became fluent very soon. And it becomes very easier for you once you decide whom you want to speak English like. Be very clear about the person whom you want to speak English like and shadow him completely. If possible, if the person who you want to speak English like make videos and is on social media, I want you to shadow him completely. Shadow him the way he talks. Recently, I am completely immersed into shadowing technique, and the person I'm shadowing is Shah Rukh Khan. I want to speak English like him. I want to be that level of articulate. Now, once you got into the habit of doing these three things that I told you, now I want you to move to one more habit, and that is listening to English as much as you can. One of the best things that I happen to do is listening. Yes, I didn't know the power of listening. I didn't know that listening was going to make me a fluent speaker in the next coming years, but it did. Because of that, I became very able to speak this language fluently. I became very comfortable with speaking English, and now I want you to do the same. I want you to get into the habit of listening to this language every single day. Expose yourself to different English materials. Expose yourself to American English, British English. Expose yourself, like exposure to different English materials on a every single day. and that's how you will become a fluent speaker, because listening is going to create a strong English spoken foundation for you. If you listen to this language every single day, you are going to talk clearly and in a very thoughtful manner in English. That's the power of listening English every single day. So yes, these were the 4 things that you need to be focused on as a beginner if you want to speak English fluently very soon. These were the 4 things that helped me a lot in reaching fluency. The reason I'm talking clearly in English is because I did these 4 things almost every single day, and as a result I became able to talk clearly in English. And I request you to do these 4 things on a daily basis. Get into the habit of the things that I told you in this video, and I can guarantee that you will thank me after 6 months. It is not going to take you that long. It is a matter of 6 months. If you got into the habits of I told you, you are going to see a massive improvement in your English. Even if you are a beginner, your English is going to transform completely. I mean, your English is going to turn upside down.